We are back. Another episode of The Climb. Got my board members here from Team Garbo. Again, Mac, Al, Mac. It is nice to have you, fellas.
Nice to be back.
Thanks, AJ. It's great to be back, pal.
Happy
How
New
are we
Year.
feeling? How are we feeling? Actually, hold up. How are we feeling that all of our favorite football teams are now out of it? How are we feeling,
Huzzah!
fellas?
It's the off season, It's
Yeah.
season's over.
But
Yeah.
dude, like the first 2 weeks in January, like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Cancun's a wonderful place this time of year, fellas. So join the Giants, you Cowboys, and you Eagles fans. It's a wonderful place to escape to.
Listen, it's Flyers and Sixers for now, dude. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, jump right on the Embiid train.
you moving to my other sports, man. You know, that's why we're lucky we have 4 in Philly. Yeah.
Yeah. Brings you so much pleasure, but then just rips your heart out. So,
Oh God. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah.
it's so upsetting that you knock your camera over. I totally.
He's throwing stuff.
Honestly, though, yeah. I mean, football is definitely the one that hurts the most.
That's great. That's great. Well, the fellas and I were just talking before we went live here, and we both had a common theme of trying to get back on track and back into our routine after the holidays. We're now standing at January 17th, so halfway through the month. We
Wow.
haven't talked to each other in a bit, and holidays happen, New Year's happen. Mac turned 30. So there's a lot of things to kind of throw us off our path. Al moved into a new apartment. I started a new job. There's a lot of things that were thrown our way, and we just want to chat it up to see how we can get back on track. What do you think, fellas?
No.
Absolutely.
Between us 3, man, we'll find the answers easy.
We'll get it.
So Mac, as the newest 30-year-old that enters the holiday season and New Year with the heartbreak of the Eagles, what's going on, man? What has knocked you off your track other than that emotional trauma that you've been facing as a Eagles fan?
Listen, I think the holidays did it for me, and I think it's something the holidays can do for a lot of people. Is kind of throw them off track, what their routine is. They get in a nice one, and I had a solid one that I was used to for months and months, and kind of fell off that a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, the Eagles collapse definitely played a little bit of a part in it, man. I'm not gonna lie. We know how it is. You get in those cold months and football season for especially for guys, you latch on a little bit. It's something, belief in something bigger than yourself, and when you're doing really well, 10-1, and then that was tough, man.
Why don't you run down everyone what your routine was and maybe where it got off track? Because you've mentioned it before, but it would be a good refresher for those listeners out there.
Yeah, of course. So I get up at like 4 to 4:30 every day. I like to take a few minutes to meditate and kind of just have like a couple minutes of gratitude. Little things that I'm appreciative of, grateful for in my life, and then kind of right away, man, I get going. I work out, and I get my body moving, and then from there, shower, breakfast, coffee, maybe a little sports center. Obviously, this week watching much. Yeah, haven't watched much this week, but and then work, come home, and then I might come home from work. Like so, that's where I wanted to like have a hobby, so I can start doing the puzzles, and that's been good. Challenging but good. But I also want to start reading, and then journaling, obviously, and then I think over time it just I think everyone can relate. You just like okay, well maybe I can just I can hold off on reading tonight. I did everything else, so I can just. I'm tired. I don't feel like reading tonight, and then the next day it's it's like I'm busy. I got something else going on, and you let those little things add up, man, and then you see the ramifications from them. So I think just it's New Year, it's still the same Mac. It's good old me. But I think I just gotta focus on what I need to get done every day, what I want to get done every day, and I'm determined. Now I know I'll get it done, especially with the help of you guys and my support group. I'll get back on track. Just gonna take a little bit.
That's good. So, what habit or action that if that falls off, it's going to have the biggest impact on your day to day?
Well, you know me, man. If I don't get my workout in, that throws me off. And honestly, I feel like I'm playing catch up because I like to get my workout in the morning, and I feel like I'm ahead of schedule. Yeah, after the workout. So,
You get that one thing
uh,
checked off early.
yeah, exactly. And then it's like work, dude. I just did this, did that this morning. I feel physically, I feel great mentally. I'm like, I'm alert. I'm ready to, I'm ready to win the day. I'm in the right
And I don't know
mindset.
about you, but that idea that you get it out of the way in the morning and you don't have to do it at night, that idea of having an open
Yeah.
night to have whatever, life kind of happens. It
Yeah.
can come to you at that point because you've
Hmm.
already gotten your routine and obligations for yourself out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%. Al. I couldn't agree more, man. And I feel like for you guys maybe too. Just when I get, and I don't know, it could be any job really, man. But you work all day, and you don't want to do a whole lot when you get done work, man. You want to go to your safe spot. You want to go to your home where you're comfortable and just relax with your loved ones, and just make, let's say, maybe do a little hobby, something that you really enjoy. You don't think of it as work. It's something that you can release some dopamine and put some smiles on your faces, but. Yeah, working out would be the one thing, AJ. I think you guys both know that would be detrimental to my day to day routine.
So I'm guessing that might have fallen off, or maybe that stayed true. I mean, what was it? What did it look like
Yeah,
over the holidays?
yeah. No, the workout routine I think definitely was altered a little bit. Just I think longer nights. I wasn't going to bed like my routine schedule, and
Mm.
so when I try getting up at 4:30, it kind of hits harder and like I get like I told you guys I got an hour commute to work and I'm like man I really would rather get another hour of sleep or something like that, and then like I say you do that a couple times a week and then it's 3-4 weeks later and then you're like how the heck did I get here,
Mm.
so I think that kind of played a part, and just which is great, dude. Like I got to see family, a lot of friends, and it's awesome. I'm very appreciative of it. um it's
I'm
just tough
glad you threw
sometimes to
that
manage
part
all
in.
that. What's up, Al?
I'm glad you threw that part in.
Yeah, I love I love seeing friends, family, dude. Like
Yeah.
I don't the fact that I fell off my routine I think is just on me not managing everything all together, and that's I don't think that was a bad thing. Those, like I said, those other things are imperative to my happiness, seeing my friends and family and enjoying those holiday festivities and whatnot. But um there's definitely some mornings and some times where I just shrugged something off where I could have got some reading done or a workout in or some time doing some puzzles or whatnot. So it's just tough during the holidays sometimes. So I think that's where I just fell off, and I'm just looking forward to getting back to a solid routine.
I think that's super healthy to realize that it's okay to fall off and recognize that, like, hey, I'm just trying to see, family and friends right now. I know, like, I'm gonna get off my balance, and I like mentioned it to Herfler on a couple calls weeks before this. How I'm like very much a sprint interval person. That like I'll be super strict, and then I know, hey, I'm gonna let loose a little bit, and it keeps me fresh. But I know that like when push comes to shove, I need to kick it into overdrive and get back into that routine. And there's certain actions and habits that I make sure I'm on top of to get there. So my question to you is, what's that action or habit that you're making sure you do to kick it into overdrive to get back to, the normal routine that you'd like, I guess.
That's a good question, man. Uh, so I think for me, man, it's my weekdays are all gonna look pretty similar. I mean, I'm home 2 days a week, but I'm in the office 3 days a week. But I'm
Mm.
getting up early every day, work out, like I say, get my a good breakfast in, work, and then I need to do whether it's reading and the puzzle or another hobby or something like that. I need to do something other than just sit around and watch TV or something like that, like something that's just not going to be productive, and um and especially when you're tired. I think especially those days where like it's really easy to just you know fall into your couch, or something like that, where you're just exhausted. And these winter months, man, I mean,
The getting dark early doesn't help anything.
yeah, I mean, the days are just, I mean, there's no sunlight. It is depressing.
Yeah.
And it's you got to fight it, man. Honestly, it's an everyday freaking battle, especially during this time. Um, but you got to find time to do things you like doing that make you happy, that make your family happy. Find things you can do with friends. Whether it's going out maybe once a week to grab some drinks or something. Not watch your favorite football teams in the playoffs. I don't know. Just
Yeah. No, that's good. I think,
God. I'm sorry,
geez,
guys.
this phone's a liability today.
It is, man. Honestly,
For the viewers, you got to watch out if you're, motion sickness. Look like you're falling off a cliff.
I have the
Blame it on
Philadelphia
birds.
of iPhones right now, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
Blame it on the birds.
I think it's really healthy though to have that type of balance of, hey, productive nights, hey, not so productive nights. And I'll even put like on the calendar like playing video games one night just so I can commit to kind of just like, relax. But then there's other nights where I'm editing the climb, I'm filming the climb, I'm doing other things, to do task and scheduling, times to read. And I think it's important to recognize those times of structure, but also make sure you're getting those times where you're seeing friends or letting loose and, letting go. And I think that's important, especially socially, making sure you're staying around other people and seeing them. So, I think a really great guest once said, her name was Devin. Someone may know her on this call. Sometimes life is not, yeah, right. Sometimes life isn't really just about like checking the box and going through like a to-do task. And, everyone does live, and I'm paraphrasing what she said. So check out that episode. I believe it's, one of the beginning ones. And, I really took to that because I live such a life where it's like, I got this to-do list. I got to do boom, 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 boom. I got to hit all these things. But at the end of the day, how realistic is that? And how happy are you that you're getting done these tasks? Or are you just letting the task, really drive you? Or are you enjoying the task? So that's cool. That's really awesome. I can hear a lot of like things of just like getting back into the swing of things with you and your schedule. But one of us on the call has had a completely new change of pace, moving into an apartment. So
Indeed.
new town, new roommate, probably a new gym, I'm guessing. New
Yeah.
commute.
Sadly.
So
Sadly.
Al, I mean, I guess that's probably thrown you for a loop and gotten you out of your routine. So let's hear
Oh, yeah.
about that, man.
Sure. Obviously, as Mack said, the holidays already kind of mess you up every year. So, and to what you were getting at, I think that part of the holidays is letting yourself get off routine and enjoy some of the things that you don't always get to enjoy, like being around friends and family that may have traveled in and, get to eat good food that you only get to eat once or twice a year. So I think it's necessary, but it does throw you for a loop. And especially when you're dealing with some kind of mental health issue, it can really mess with how you move forward into the new year. So I definitely am trying to get into a routine, but as you said, it's not just getting back into what was my routine. It's adapting to a new one as well, because now I'm going from living at home to living in an apartment. So there's a change of scenery. There's a change of, location. There's new stores to go to. There's new way to get to work. There's just little things that have all, become things that you have to reintegrate into a routine that works for you. So a lot of trial and error, I feel like, right now.
Yeah, that recognition is just super. And Mac, chime in when you get the chance. But like that recognition about your mental health, I think is so important and like really mature of you because, you are letting loose. You are eating these foods. You're seeing people. You're getting out of routine. That's great. That's in itself is healthy. But you shouldn't be beating yourself up if you find yourself January 1 in a worse physical state maybe a little bit off mentally, not as sharp, like don't beat yourself up, but recognize that there's a byproduct of letting go and letting yourself enjoy the moment of being with friends, families, and things of that nature. And I think people really beat themselves up, and they go, oh man, I got to lose this amount of weight, oh I have to do this, have to do that. These New Year's resolutions that no one sticks to. Recognize that everything is, every result is because of some sort of actions, and it's okay, but just put it in a progress state that you did, that hey, it's going to take me a little bit to figure out my routine. So I like that you said all that and tied it into the mental health aspect of it.
Yeah, and like you're saying, it's not something that's innate. So I used to do that in the past, where the new year comes around and you make this ridiculous New Year's resolution because you're in panic mode in your head, because you've let the enjoyment of your holiday become now a dreadful thing because you gained weight, or you drank too much, you ate foods that you don't normally eat, your stomach feels weird, you're bloated, whatever it is. You kind of make what was an enjoyable thing or experience, and you kind of flip it and make it this dread. And I think that's the most unproductive way to spend a new year. So definitely, it's taken time, but I think it's way more enjoyable when you can compartmentalize that part of just enjoying yourself, let loose, have fun, because everyone at the end of the day needs that battery recharge, even if you run on a tight routine or schedule. So that's
Awesome.
definitely what I've been trying to embrace.
Awesome point, Mac. What do you got to say about that? I know you're nodding your head a bunch.
Honestly, I couldn't really agree more with Al, man. He said it, like, learn just to have fun in the thick of everything, no matter what. Just always, especially during these times, got to be able to, find ways to put a smile on your face. And then, Al, congrats, man, on moving in a new place. I'm just like thinking about like just all the like the day-to-day activities that you're going through now, that like you're just adjusting to, like, you're brushing your teeth in a new spot, you're waking up in a new spot, you're putting you're eating breakfast in a different spot. Like, it's all these little things now that like you're gonna have a new routine to build and adapt. I think was the word you used. So I think that was really really nice. Just being able to adapt to a new routine, not necessarily just continue the one you were on, but dude, I'm going to kill this phone.
I gotta get you a
Interrupted me, but
in that same vein,
I like what you
Mac,
said, man. I'm gonna have to hold this, but
do you have any suggestions on how you two have adapted to a new routine in the past? I mean, obviously, AJ, you got married last year, so you've obviously gone through stages of adapting to living not only in a house with Christina, but also, becoming married. So, if there were one or two things that you would advise me on in getting into that new routine and becoming comfortable, what would they be?
Mac, why don't you hit this one on the head, and then I'll come over the top. How about that?
being able to adapt, man. Well, I think it's just reevaluating what your procedures were before, how you operated, what worked well, what didn't work well. I think we're all old enough now to like really be able to pinpoint those things that that we do well and that work well for us, and that don't. So being in a new spot, definitely find your comfort zones and stuff like that. But I definitely think now you're gonna find yourself in uncomfortable situations. A lot of stuff, a lot of unknown, a lot of changes. And that's like the only guarantee in life, right? Is change. So I think you just embrace it, man. Embrace all of it. You're gonna be just fine. I mean, you have the right attitude always, man. So you just embrace it all with the Alvinus mindset, and I think you'll be just fine, bro.
Well, I've got you guys too, so make it easy.
Hell yeah, love that.
Yeah.
There's a few things that I think are really simple, but they grip really well. And I think who I first learned this, but it was years ago. There's a saying called change one thing, change everything. And the concept is really simple. It's that don't try to like build the house all in one day, lay down one brick at a time. And if you change one thing, for instance, like I started going back to a gym and that was going to be my one thing. And I knew in a granular level that if I just start to go back to the gym, one, I would have to go to bed at a normal time to wake up early. Then I'm waking up early and staying schedule oriented. So you can go at it a granular approach, or you can just legitimately like, I'm going to make sure that my head's on the pillow at 10:30 every day and see what else comes of it. Um, and it's really that simple because you can. I remember talking to Frank. I do these stupid health challenges that I make for myself and health and wellness and stuff. And I just love it. I geek out over it. I, studied, health coaching in college. And there was this one thing I did in 25 days. I lost 15 pounds, yada, yada. I read 2 books, whatever it was. I did like 15 things, 15 habits, 15 actions a day. But I looked at it as I'm going to complete the task sheet each day. There's one thing. I'm just going to commit to that. So you can trick yourself in doing that, whether it's just going to bed or it's like, hey, in order to get to the gym every single day, I have to get up at a certain time, which means I have to go to bed at a certain time, which means I have to get there at a certain time so I can come home and, for me, walk Rover, get ready for work. And it's one of those things. It's just like a ripple effect. So change one thing and it'll change everything. And I truly, truly believe that. The cause and effect of things. And then the other thing, more relevant to living with someone new or, a partner, is this concept of think again. And it's a book by Adam Grant, professor in UPenn. And essentially he talks about things that everyone should think about, certain things that come across their life as a scientist, where a scientist has a hypothesis, but they have to prove the very opposite. So you may think that something is like really spot on. And I always say this to Christina, like I'm always right. I turn out a lot of things I say is right, but it doesn't really help me out mentioning that. But I had to learn to look in the perspective of others. And that was before I got married. I read that book and it was really interesting. Like even when it comes to politics or religious beliefs or just in general, like someone's opinions, like to think again and think about the other side of things is just truly healthy to just progress and keep moving forward. You can keep to your beliefs, but to understand that someone else has an opinion that may be different to yours, and that's okay. People can have differences, I think is really healthy. So in general, incorporating that will help your routine and getting the swing of things, living with someone. But that does take time. So
I like those. I would love if you send me the title of that book. I'd love.
Yeah, think again. I'll send it to you, both of you guys. But there's a cool story in that book that I like to talk about a lot because it's so relevant. Do you guys remember before smartphones there were Blackberries?
Oh yeah.
The first smartphone.
Oh yeah.
Like Brick Breaker and the whole
Frank's
concept.
phone.
Yeah. There you go. The whole concept behind BlackBerry was like you could email on it, and it was super advanced for all the flip phones that were out there. So the owner of BlackBerry was a smart guy, but he had people around him like engineers, whatever, product managers, and they showed like him Apple's I believe it was their iPod. It might have been the Touch at that time. It might have not been. But the developers and engineers were like, yo, listen, CEO of BlackBerry, we need to adapt to this. We should think about putting like music on this and making it more like an iPhone and like touch screen, and we need to develop. And he was so stuck in his ways, he said, no way, that's never going to work. Well, now everyone, pull out and mine's filming us, pull out your phones, they're an iPhone. So it's that instance right there, and that's why like all great leaders are really delegators, and they find great people to not like Nick Sirianni, but they really build
Kick
this.
me while I'm down.
Yeah, yeah, kick your way down. But I think that concept really hammers it home that like there could always be something different. There could always be another opinion of minds that you should consider. Not everything's going to slap you in the face like the BlackBerry example, but like no one has Blackberries anymore, and there's a reason for it.
100%, man.
Couldn't adapt.
That's my little gist.
No,
so
I like that. I'm good. I have to read this book now, and it works perfectly because I want to start reading more. That was one of the things we've discussed in the past too. So
yeah.
I would love to start that one.
Yeah, he just came out with a new book too. I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna have to pick it up. But it's really good. It's sharp. I think another thing like about reading is, for me this was like easy for me to do once I adopted it. But like if you start to read something and you're not getting the feeling of like I can't put this down, or like I love reading this is awesome, then you should put it down, because like it's their job as the author. And one of my favorite authors, Ryan Holiday, talks about this, that like books should be engaging. If you're not engaged by it, then don't waste your time. There's so many other like books out there. And with the same token, you probably shouldn't read like, you should always like obviously like pick up things, but don't be afraid to reread stuff. Like Think Again, I've read it a couple times, and if you find a good one, go through it. And, I think it's really interesting because like you buy a book for like $15 to $20, and I've done it with a few, and I'm like, this is just too much. Like, not for me.
Yep, I've done that.
So
hey, those good books, man, they hit home. I'm sorry about my phone. Those good books, they're like good movies, man. You can rewatch those good movies, and those good books, those good reads, man. They'll always grab your interest. Like you said, they don't suck you in. Don't waste your time. Just. I'm with you, but yeah, definitely send me that book as well. Because I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my little library, if you will. Just definitely a handful of books, but I can definitely use more. That I would love to start reading more.
Mac, I would say like you should get an Audible account. They are the most cost efficient service and subscription. Al, you too, if you're commuting a fair amount. For like, I don't know, $12, $13, $15 a month, you get a credit, and the credit can buy like any book on there. So let's just say Think Again's like $24 on Audible if you buy it by yourself. It just costs one credit. So I did that, and ironically, I did the subscription when I was like manic and I forgot about it, and it was building up credits, and I believe it was on my like mom's credit card because it was through her Amazon. So I ended up like paying her like a year's worth of credits, but it was the best way for me to get into reading because I bought Think Again. I bought Subtle Art Not to Give a Fuck, which I talked about with Frank.
Yeah.
And some other things. There's actually some things that I loved on audio that I hated like reading or didn't finish. And it's a really good thing, and like while you're going in the car or commuting or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to memorize the book. You just need these small takeaways, and they can be pretty impactful.
Yeah, I can use that with my commute, man. Definitely just thinking about more podcasts I could listen to, just like more productive things that certain topics I want to get into, whether it's like real estate and stuff like I can learn more about, that could be useful for my day to day. I would love that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the concept of being a lifelong learner, right?
Yeah. You should never stop learning, man.
I haven't used Audible, but I have used Apple's ebooks.
Yeah.
And it is definitely more cost effective.
Okay.
Yeah, what Apple is or Audible? I've never used
No,
Apple.
not Audible. I don't know how it compares to Audible. I'm just saying it's more cost effective than buying a physical book.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Really?
But I enjoy it because you could do it in the car. But my commute got shorter because of the move, which is nice, but does cut away time that you would be able to listen to something.
Yeah.
Something to adapt to.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So let's end with this. I think reading has been, a big part for all of us to maybe work on or continue. We're all in the midst of getting into a new routine. Like I think I mentioned, I started a new job and I'm trying to focus on that. So I want to keep myself honest with this, my other thing, last one was grounding. And I did. I actually got outside more. Now it's freezing cold with snow and I haven't. Um,
Tough
And
this
you
time of
talked to
year.
Herthler about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he is a whiz. He's seriously intelligent about a lot of stuff, and I love it. I love it. I think it's really important. I probably will get like a grounding mat just because I would like to have one when like I'm working. But getting outside, I like schedule like 40 minutes during lunch to go walk Rover, go walk around barefoot, and then do like 3 to 5 minutes of like a breathing exercise. I eat and then I'm good. But that's something I've cooked into my routine because of being remote and knowing, what my schedule could be and whatnot. And I have the liberty to do that. So I guess what I want to be held accountable for is to make sure that that doesn't stop because I know my calendar is going to get much busier as I start going after it. But hold me accountable to that, and in return, I would love to hear what I could help you keep you guys accountable for as well too.
I love it. I love it. For me, I want to. One of my resolutions, man, is like I do want to read more. That is something I really want to prioritize because I said like we were just talking about learning too. I think um, should never stop learning, and I think one of the best ways to do that is through reading. So whether I'm reading nonfiction or fiction, I just want to be reading more. So at least a book a month, if not 2 books a month. I'm gonna go 2 books a month, man. So I'm gonna starting this month, I want to start reading 2 books a month. So 24 books this year.
You
So
just
I
blew,
hold
you
me
blew by
accountable
the
for
stop
reading,
sign. I
huh?
just said in the call one thing at a time.
No, you're holding me
You're
accountable.
gonna go 0 to 2.
Hold me accountable for reading, man. Reading's the one thing I dove into a little bit more, but just reading. I want to be held accountable for reading.
How about this? The next time you're on, I want to hear what you're reading or what you have read, and just a quick summary of it. I was going to suggest make sure you read at least 50 pages if you're not, reading.
I was gonna say like don't even put a number on it. Just be like I just want to
Well,
like
I didn't want
set
to go too big. I
5 minutes
think
aside to read.
I think a book a month's not too asking too much, man. I think that's
Yeah, but
But
you
I'm
went
an
right
over
to
I'm an
2.
over
You
I'm an
went
over
right to
I'm an
2.
overachiever though, so I'm gonna go 2.
Dude,
Well,
that I just no, I can appreciate it because it does help and you want to head it. But with that being said, you know the results, so like you got to put in the work. Maybe
Exactly, man.
after your meditation in the morning, you read for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, AJ, you said it earlier, just like actually setting time to schedule.
Yeah.
And whether, it's something just like that, just let's set 15, 30 minutes aside, you're reading during this time. Boom. Get it out of the way. I think that having those little appointments with yourself, can just prove dividends, down the road. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
And
you
as
actually
and as
taught me
long
that a
as
couple
you're
years ago, and it's helped me a lot just with small things. Even if it's just, like you were saying, set time away for yourself. Like I'll put a reminder in my calendar. I, like you were saying with Xbox or whatever it is, watch a TV show. I'll have that. Have
Yeah.
personal time.
I think that's so important. Like it's important to be productive, but it's also important to be balanced. Whether it's like tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow I have on my calendar to go in the garage, walk on the treadmill, watch the Flyers, play darts, and then after that play video games. Like I'm ready to let go. After this, I have me and Christina call it K&A night, where we strictly it's just us, all electronics away. But like what you said too, Mac, like socially, like I want to make sure that I have time on the calendar. If I'm looking at like, all right, when am I going to see everyone, and how am I going to schedule it in? Because our time is so limited as we get older. But if we're not, seeing the people we love, doing what we love, then what's the point of it? We gotta keep that up. So it's a great point by you.
100%, man. But we got our accountability buddies right here to help out.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. So Al, what are you putting us under the light for? What can we?
I want you guys to check in next time we talk about what type of routine I've established. So obviously, I'm adapting to a new routine, and there's things within my routine that I want to reestablish, but just kind of keeping it open because I would love to say want to get back to the gym, but I don't even have a gym right now. So I just want to get a routine together that's realistic. But yeah, so I'm already obviously starting and have started getting a routine together. But yeah, I want to get you guys to check in on where I'm at and how far I've gotten since this conversation.
Well,
Okay.
how about this, fellas? 2 weeks from now, I will text everyone asking for an update.
Love it.
End of the month.
Look at
Yeah.
that. And
February kickoff.
for any
Mhm.
yeah, there it is. For anyone that like is watching this, like I think it's really important to demonstrate because you guys are on the board of Team Garbo with me, and we share a common goal. But really, a huge part of the organization is that team aspect and all of us being there for each other and supporting each other. And you know, I'm very fortunate, at a very, fragile state in my life as a 19-year-old to have such a great support system. Not everyone has that, but also something that you have to work on continuously to have and keep and hold these relationships. And it's probably something I value most in life is the relationships I keep. I say it often to Christina. So I challenge everyone out there, like find yourself accountability buddies, people, keep yourself accountable. But it's really a lot easier when you're all in the same boat together, holding each other to stuff. So um, I know, fellas, we're gonna get back into the swing of things and probably hit February with a fierce amount of productivity.
Well, yeah, man.
It's gonna
Things
be a good
coming.
year. It's gonna be a good year.
Good stuff. All right, fellas. I think that's it for now. Excited for the next conversation and obviously our checkup in a couple weeks.